Hi everyone. I hope everybody had a great new year. What they've been focusing on at the moment on Sky News is that they've been talking about the fact that we could be facing possible war with China, with the United States. Now, remember, the United States has nuclear arsenal and has probably more biggest nuclear arsenal on the planet. And Australians should not be worried about China being a big threat just because we've had problems with tariffs. You can blame the federal government for that. And because of what Scott Morrison has said before in Parliament about this, he attacked them by provoking them by saying that they're the cause behind the coronavirus and COVID-19, which they are. Trump has said this is basically an act of war. This is an act of war from China because they created the virus and they spread it to the rest of the world. And there's different strains going on and there's different mutations of the virus, and it's because it's been grown. It's been grown to do this. So this is what we're facing at the moment. And the problem is we need to, here in Australia, we need to boost our forces, which means we need to bring in national service, which they've been talking about for years. So that means people, kids from 18 to 35, around my age, will be pushed to do national service to boost our national forces and our defence force here in Australia. That means Army, Air Force and Navy, which means kids will easily get a job, but we'll be conscripts, so we'll be getting a private's wage, which is basically nothing, less than $30,000 a year. Even though you are looked after by the Army, Air Force and the Navy, but you're not paid that much because you're on a private's wage. You won't be on a sergeant's wage. You won't become an officer. So that's a problem there as well. You won't be boosted like other officers will be. Because there's basically a class system that those who went to Duntroon in Queensland to our military colleges will get the positions of officers in the Defence Force. You can boost the numbers by joining, like they do in America. They have, Coast Guard and stuff like that as part of national service, but they don't call it that anymore, I don't think. And by saying this, Australia should be scared about what the United States is doing, but I don't think China are going to boost their numbers by going to this stupid Cold War. Because we all know that Russia is trying to start and build up the Soviet Union again as well. Vladimir Putin in Siberia is doing a lot of stuff. There's also those terrible prisons as well. And what happened in Ukraine with Crimea is something that's going on at the moment too. And he's also trying to boost more support in countries like Iraq and Syria, fighting the Syrian conflict still after all these years, because the Americans pulled out. There is no coalition support from the UN or NATO forces to support this new Cold War. Basically, it's a new Cold War, which we all knew was going to happen. It's all going to bring this to an head. The Soviet Union will join up with China and make themselves supreme red. Will be a supreme red nuclear force. They'll be unstoppable for the world. So the Reds are someone to watch out for. But China has allies in Southeast Asia, near Australia, including Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. All of them are supporting China these days. So places like that are Chinese territories now. Chinese control that. They control basically Indonesia. They control all that because they're communists. Indonesians are communists, and they support China. The VC are still in Vietnam. They control Vietnam. It's a communist country. It's a dictatorship. They're supported by China. Of course, North Korea, that's controlled by China as well. and Kim will be supporting his forces towards the Chinese to get rid of the Americans, of course. And we know this is going to happen too, but there's also a problem with the Middle East. The Americans want to go to war in Yemen and also in Iran as well. Most likely Somalia as well, and Sudan, because of the conflict and fighting that's happening in Africa at the moment. So we've got to watch out what's going on with all these stupid petty conflicts and what our Australian government will be doing by supporting national service and stuff like that. I'm a bit worried because, I'm almost 32, and I'm not one to, I'm a conscientious objector. I don't believe in any violence whatsoever. I'm basically a Quaker. I don't support violence in any way, in any form, because it's wrong.